Okay, we're moving on to topic 1.3, relating the imperial units and SI units, or the metric system. In making connections, two cars are driven in opposite directions from the Canada-US border crossing. In 1 hour, Hannah drove 62 miles south, while Farron drove 98 kilometers north. How could you determine which vehicle traveled farther from the border? Well, we can either convert them both into kilometers or both into miles. And since we're in Canada, let's convert them both into kilometers. So what we're going to do is you're first of all going to find the relation between the two, and that is that 1 mile is approximately equal to 1.6 kilometers. So if we set up a ratio of miles to kilometers, we can say 1 mile is the same as 1.6 kilometers. Equals, well, we've got 62 miles, so that would go on the top, and x would go on the bottom. Now, to solve this ratio, or proportion, we're going to cross-multiply. 1 times x, top times bottom one way, has to equal top times bottom the other way. 1 times x is x, and that's got to equal 1.6 times 6.2. Or 62, sorry. And if you multiply that out, you're going to get 99.2 kilometers. Therefore, Hannah drove farther, because 99.2 kilometers is obviously further than Farron, who only went 98 kilometers. Each measurement in the imperial system relates to a corresponding measurement in the SI system. This table shows some approximate relationships between the imperial units and SI units. For instance, 1 millimeter is approximately 4/100ths of an inch. And we're talking about approximates here. All of these are going to be approximates. So if we said 4/100ths of an inch, that's also the same as 0.04 of an inch. And 1 inch is approximately 2.5 centimeters. 1 centimeter is approximately 4/10ths of an inch, which is 0.4 inches. 1 foot's approximately 30 centimeters. 1 foot's about 0.3 meters. 1 meter is approximately 39 inches. And 1 meter is approximately 3 1/4 feet, which we can express as 3.25. 1 yard is approximately 0.9 meters. 1 kilometer is approximately 6/10ths of a mile. And 1 mile is approximately 1.6 kilometers. That's where we got our last one at. So 6/10ths of a mile could also be written as 0.6. As well, there's a couple of exact measurements that we want to introduce to you at this point. And that is 1 inch is exactly 2.54 centimeters, and 1 yard is exactly 91.44 centimeters. So keep those in mind as we move forward as well. Okay, here we go. We're going to look at some of the imperial units. 1 inch, which is abbreviated to be 1 inch, or 1 with 2 little hashtags on the top. 1 inch is the approximate length from the mid-joint to the end of a person's thumb. 1 foot, which is 12 inches, is the approximate length of a person's foot. 1 yard is the same as 3 feet, and it's the same as 36 inches. And 1 yard is the approximate distance from a person's nose to the fingertip of an outstretched arm. Then we have 1 mile. 1 mile is 1,760 yards, or 5,280 feet. And it's defined 1 mile is the approximate distance that a person can walk in 20 minutes. On the other side, we have our SI units, whereas 1 millimeter is the approximate thickness of a dime. 1 centimeter is the same as 10 millimeters, and 1 centimeter is the approximate width of a child's fingernail. 1 meter is the same as 100 centimeters. It's the same as 1,000 millimeters. 1 meter is the approximate width of a doorway. And 1 kilometer or 1 km, is the same as 1,000 meters, and 1 kilometer is the approximate distance that a person can walk in 15 minutes. Here we are at example 1, converting from meters to feet. A bowling lane is approximately 19 meters long. What is this measurement to the nearest foot? So to start with, we're going to say, let's convert meters to feet. When we know, or we're given, that 1 meter is approximately 3.25 feet. So now we can say we have 19 meters. That'll go on the top because that's where the meters are on top. And x is going to go on the bottom because we want to know how many feet that's going to be. Now again, we can cross multiply. 1 times x is x. And 19 times 3.25 is top times bottom, going the other way. When you multiply that out, you're going to get 6175, or approximately 62 feet. And, checking your understanding, Canadian football field is approximately 59 meters wide. What is its measurement to the nearest foot? So again, we're going to start out as meters to feet is 1 to 3.25. Now we have 59 on the top and x on the bottom. Because 59 is for meters, x is for feet. To cross multiply, 1 times x is equal to 3.25 times 59, or 192 feet. Okay, in example 2, converting between miles and kilometers again. After meeting in Emerson, Manitoba, Hannah drove 62 miles south and Farron drove 98 kilometers north. Who drove farther? So again, miles to kilometers, we did that in the first page, is 1 mile is 1.6 kilometers, and if we have 62 miles on the top, x will go on the bottom. Cross multiplying, 1 times x is x equals, the other way is 62 times 1.6. And when you multiply that, you get 99.2 kilometers. So we can say that Hannah must have driven further. Over on the other side, after meeting in Osoyoos, BC, Dakota drove 114 kilometers north and Winona drove 68 miles south. Who drove farther? Again, our ratio is 1 to 1.6. And that's equal to 68 miles is x kilometers. Cross multiply, x is equal to 1.6 times 68, which is 108.8. So that tells us that Dakota, who drove 114 kilometers, drove further. Here we have example 3, solving a problem that involves unit conversions. First of all, Alex is a 6 foot 2 inch tall person. To list his height on his driver's license, Alex needed to convert this measurement to centimeters. A. What is Alex's height to the nearest centimeter? Well, first of all, 6 feet 2 inches, 6 times 12 is 72 inches, so 6 feet 2 inches would be 72 plus 2 inches, or 74 inches tall. So now, we can do a conversion. If we have inches to centimeters, we can say 1 inch is 2.54 centimeters. So therefore, we can now say 74 inches is going to be x centimeters. Cross multiplying, x is 2.54 times 74, or 187.96, or rounded to the nearest centimeter, 188 centimeters. Checking your understanding. Number 3. Nora knows that she is 5 foot 7 inches tall. What height in centimeters will she list on her driver's license application? Same process. 5 feet 7 is actually going to be 60 inches plus 7 more, or 67 inches. Now I can compare inches to centimeters. And that's going to be 1, again, to 2.54. That's got to equal 67 inches on the top and x centimeters on the bottom. Cross multiply. and you're going to get 170.18 or 170 centimeters. In example 4, estimating and calculating using unit conversions. A truck driver knows that her semi-trailer is 3.5 meters high. The support beams of a bridge are 11 feet 9 inches high, and will the vehicle fit under the bridge? Justify your answer. Well, here we go. We are told that 1 meter is approximately 39 inches. So that's what we're going to use. And we're going to say 11 feet 9 inches. Well, the 11 feet converts to 132 inches by multiplying 11 by 12. 9 inches is 9 inches. Adding the two together gives me a total of 141 inches. Now, when I compare meters to inches, I'm going to say 1 meter is approximately 39 inches. So that means 3.5 meters is going to be how many inches tall? Cross multiplying 39 times 3.5, x is going to equal 136.5 inches. So, now we know that the bridge is 141 inches tall, and her truck is 136.5 inches tall, and since the trailer is shorter than the bridge, she's okay. She should fit under. In the next one, we're going to have to compare meters to feet, because we got a 4.3 meter wide bridge, or load, and his load is 15 feet wide. Now, he's only allowed a 4.3 meter wide load. That means for 1 meter, it's going to be 3.25 feet approximately, and that means 4.3 meters is going to be x feet. Cross multiplying. 1 times x is x. 3.25 times 4.3 gives us 13.975 feet. So his truck is too wide. So your assignment then is going to be page 22, numbers 4 to 15.